Hey everyone, quick synopsis video for my chat with Shira Murray, who's a state office supervisor located in Davis, California, working with the FNEP program. FNEP stands for Expanded Food and Nutrition Program. And I found out it's actually nationwide in that it's in every state, but every state runs it a little bit differently. So this is the California program run out of Northern California. And Shira is a state office supervisor working out of the main headquarters in Davis, California. She had an interesting background getting her bachelor's degree in dietetics from Sac State. She said at the time that she graduated, there weren't a lot of positions available for RDs wanting to do nutrition education that was not in a medical setting. And so she ended up going into the AmeriCorps program and teaching parenting classes, which really led her into her education stint. Then went through a nonprofit working out of Yolo County, which is a county here in Northern California, and then ended up at the CalFresh program as a program manager. And CalFresh is all about outreach for low-income families and helping people sign up for food assistance, and involves a lot of coordination. And so through that skill set, she got the position as a state office supervisor with FNEP. FNEP primarily focuses on assisting low-income youth, both youth and adults and families, to acquire knowledge, skills, and information about just improving overall diet, nutritionally sound diets. And so the program focuses primarily on teaching nutrition education classes. They have separate child youth classes as well as specific adult classes. One of the most interesting things that she explained was that the program actually relies heavily on three separate roles to coordinate all the information. So sort of boots on the ground teaching the nutrition education lessons, working within the community, going on site visits are the nutrition educators, what they call the paraprofessionals in this program. The second position involved is hers, which is a state office supervisor, which is sort of a coordination manager working not only on attaining funding, but just coordinating all aspects of the program, getting new hires in, and helping train with the content and curriculums. The third role that the program works with are what they call advisors, and these are really people who develop curriculum and content. And that stood out to me, just the juxtaposition that we've had learning sort of each element of program design and making sure we understand, how do you fundraise, how do you create curriculum, how do we establish evaluation techniques, what strategies do we use to develop models to educate from. And it made a lot of sense that there's a lot work that goes into that. And in this case, for this program that's statewide and has been running for the last 50 years, it's not a single person doing that. It's three separate roles, as well as roles, kind of in between those, helping coordinate everything and test it out. Another thing that sort of lesson learned from the interview was not entirely unexpected. She said funding is always a challenge. Even though the FNEP program is funded with a federal grant, she says it's constantly fighting for that money. And because the federal grant is flat year over year, but costs of the program rise because cost of living increases here, and cost to train new employees or promote or provide raises is required, but is not increased with the federal grant. And so there's constant need to make sure they're spending their money really well and getting the return on it. And another thing that struck me is just the emphasis that she said that as a nutrition educator, which she was before this role, she felt it was really, really hard work. It was out in the field, constantly moving locations, lugging their stuff around, and setting up shop and then tearing it down, then driving another hour. And so she said it really felt like a step up to move from, within this program, move from nutrition educator into either developing content and curriculum as an advisor or helping coordinate the entire program from the state office in Davis. So overall, really interesting discussion with her. There's a lot more detail that I go into in my write-up that I'll make sure to attach to the discussion board. Additionally, she shared some of the resources that they use, including one of the set of curriculum that they teach for the adult classes, and as well as the logic model that they have set up. And so those are within the write-up that I have. So make sure you check out those links if you're interested, and look forward to any feedback or comments. Thanks, guys.